everyone, this is Carrie for CraftStash, and today I'm going to be showing you a couple of cards using the new CraftStash hot foil stamps. So I have here the beautiful sort of stitchy hearts design on this one, and heating up on my machine in there I have the You're Invited font. So I'm just going to place that one to one side. I'm going to take a bit of the silver foil and I'm going to lay it on top of the stamp now that it's heated up to the right temperature. I'm using my GoPress and foil machine, though you can use pretty much any hot foiling machine. It will work with different types of machine as long as you're using the correct foil that go with it. So I've popped my bit of card in there, but what I also need to do is give myself a bit of a shim. So I'm just going to use another piece of card on top and then place that flat. So the next thing that I need to do is run it through my die cut machine. Now I'm going to have to do this off screen because I'm using the Big Shot Express. You can use obviously various different types of machines, whichever ones you've got at home, just check they're compatible with your hot foil machine. So once you've run that through, that creates the pressure that you need to activate the stamp with the hot foil. So I'm just going to lift that one up. And then I'm just going to peel this really carefully off of there. So you can see that there's this absolutely gorgeous foiling effect. Turn that around the right way. Really beautiful. Really love that. So it looks really posh. It looks really luxurious. It gives you a really lovely finish. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take off the You're Invited stamp. Take that one off and put it over here. And I'm just going to bring in the stitchy heart effect. So I'm going to turn that one round. I'm going to place it far as I can into the corner without putting it in a place where I won't get much pressure when I run it through the machine. So I just want that to heat up there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this one to one side. What you need to do is trim that to the size that you want it. Now I want it as close as I can into the edge, and you'll see why when you see what I'm going to be doing with it. So I'm just going to pop that one up there. I've got another piece of card, and this time what I want to do is I want to try and get the stamp to come down here in the corner. So that one's just heating up for a little while. You kind of want to give it a couple of minutes each time you change your hot foil stamp, because that gives you the heat that you need to activate the foil and make it look nice and crisp. So I'm just going to grab the foil here and I'm going to cut myself another piece coming across there. Now, as I was saying before about using scraps and things of it, because sometimes you'll find that you get lots around the edges that you don't use, I don't want to throw that away, I don't want to waste it. I put it into a bag and then I trim down the little offcuts and I put them all over the stamp to give me sort of a mishmash of colours. So I will do that technique in another video to give you the effect of what you can achieve using the scraps of foil. So I'm going to pop that one over the top there. Now, as I said, I want to kind of get this in a corner, sort of as far down as I can. So I'm really carefully going to see if I can line that up and pop it as far down in the corner as I can, making sure that I remember to put my shim on top so that I get the right sort of pressure. Pop that one flat. Again, I'm going to run this now through my die cut machine to get the pressure that I need to get that real letterpress look on the hot foil stamps. So I'm just going to run that through. Okay, so that's gone through now, and I'm going to bring this one out. I'm going to take the shim off first, then I'm going to lift this one over so I can show you what we've got there. Really, really beautiful foiling with that stitchy effect. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to again let that one heat up for a second. Take another bit of the foil. I'm just going to trim that one down. I'm going to lie that one over the top again of the stamp. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over and aim for this bottom corner now. So again, laying it over, facing down where I want it. One of the things I probably should say is always putting the colour of the foil that you want facing down. So I'll pop that one on there. Pop the shim on next. close that one up, out. And again, I'm just going to run that through my Big Shot Express. And then I'll bring it back over so you can see. And there we go, so that one's come back through. Pop it back in there. That just means that it's always heating up ready for the next job that it needs to do. Okay, so I've got that one there, and then I'm just going to peel it off. And again, really beautiful crisp foiling from that gorgeous stamp. Really, really lovely. So what I'm going to do, as I say, is I'm just going to take a few gems and give it a little bit of an embellish look on the corners. So I'm just going to take a couple of those ones, and I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue on two of the end pieces of the stamp. So I'm going to place that one on there, flip that one over if I can, and then pop that one on here. So that just gives it a little bit of added sparkle to the foiling. So then I need to cut this one down, add a few foam pads and put on a little bit of matting layering, and what I'll end up with is something like this. So as you can see, really simple but really effective. The gorgeous foiling, I've just popped the foam pads under there, trimmed it right down so that I've got the stitching effect flowing across the card. So really lovely, simple idea using these hot foil stamps. Another idea that you can do is using a gold foil on top of some craft card, and then I've just matting layered with some vellum and some gold foiling, so that's another lovely idea. And then with the stitchy hearts, I felt like it sort of stands alone as well. So I've done a real abstract arty card here using some inky card. Let that dry completely. I got some iridescent hot foil and I just placed one lot of the stitching, the hot foil stitchy there, on, cut it down, trimmed to size and matte and layering, and I just think it looks gorgeous. That looks good enough to frame for me for my room because I think it looks like a lovely piece of art. So again, these hot foil stamps, fantastic for all sorts of crafting. You can do scrapbooking. I think it would look lovely if you swap that for a photo. I think that would look really gorgeous. But also card making, lots of different ideas for using these. So I'm really enjoying using these hot foil stamps. Thanks for watching everybody, and happy crafting!